Okay.
And we are live. So thank you so much, Lynn, for joining us today. People, we're here with Lynn Cahoon. Am I pronouncing your surname correct?
It is, yes.
Perfect. Okay. She is our Cozy Mystery Book Club author for December, and she's come here today to have a chat about her books and her life and give us a little bit of details on what's next for her. So Lynn is the New York Times and USA Today best-selling author of several cozy mystery series, including the Tourist Trap series, which I have read. And you also have the paranormal series set in Magic Springs. That is called, is it Witch?
Kitchen Witch.
Kitchen Witch, thank you very much. The Cat Latimer series and the Farm to Fork, which I haven't read the Farm to Fork, but the description makes me want to immediately start. I love the idea of that. So, and you also started out, before you wrote cozies, you wrote some romance books as well. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I had a bull rider series set in Idaho, which I still play with every once in a while. I've got it out there under Lynn Collins.
Okay.
And Collins is just a name I really liked because of Barnabas Collins, because it's a Dark Shadows thing. So
okay,
very old vampire series, if you don't know the Barnabas Collins saga. So yeah, I've got that. I've got another Idaho set series, and I like writing romance. It's just never taken off for me, and because I write sweet romance, and I like the getting together and the whole big family atmosphere thing. So I moved over to cozies and started killing people in the middle of that, and it kind of worked better, at least for sales.
Well, it's funny because I had exactly the same experience. I started out with romance and they did fine, like they were okay, but I didn't really feel that I saw the needle move until I started writing cozy mysteries. And even in my romances, I kept also killing people, which is perhaps not entirely what should be happening. I mean, I wrote some romantic suspenses too. And but yeah, I feel that the cozy atmosphere, the cozy world fits my voice better.
I think so. I think it fits my voice better as well. So.
And did you start out, before you wrote cozies, did you start out reading cozies? And if so, which ones did you start with?
Yeah, I did actually. I am a breast cancer survivor.
Okay.
14 years, something. You stop counting after a while. But I'm a breast cancer survivor. So I was going to the library and picking up just books after books after books because I needed something to distract me. And I was sitting in the hospital a lot. So
yeah.
Sitting there doing treatments, I found that I really enjoyed mysteries because it kept my mind active and not thinking about what they were doing to me.
Yeah.
And I started reading. There were some mysteries I really loved, and there were some mysteries I really didn't, and I didn't understand because, the label in the library still said mystery on all of them.
Yeah.
And I was getting one of my shots that you get after chemo. And I had to go in once a day to this hospital to get them because of insurance issues. And I was talking to the nurse, and she said, "Oh, you like cozy mysteries?" And I said, "Really?"
Okay.
She, yep. She says, "And there's a really good author here in St. Louis that I bet you'll love." Well, I was scheduled to go in the next day for my shot again because it was cheaper that way. It was a $50 copayment instead of the $3,000 for the shot.
Whoa.
Again, American insurance. And so I went in the next day, and she brought me this bag of cozies. Just a freaking
fabulous.
And I just started reading them. I fell in love with them. I met the author that she was talking about that was in St. Louis, which was Susan McBride.
Okay.
She's not writing cozies as much anymore, but I posted it on the web, and Susan reached out to me and gave me her newest book, and she's a breast cancer survivor as well. And so we started talking, and and it was just from there to I could write this was just the next step. And it's
that's a lovely story.
It's where I fell in love with cozies. So
yeah, I think that the escapist element of actually both romance and cozy mysteries. I mean, okay, yes, all fiction, but let's say the warm escapist feeling
Yeah.
that you get from romance and cozies is something that a lot of us need. Yeah.
Well, and it's good for a wide variety of people. I was a member of RWA, and they used to have these big book events.
Yeah.
And I had this guy come looking for me, and I thought he was waiting to talk to the lady next door, because she was much more bigger author than I was. And he came running up, so, oh, it was almost at the end of it. I'm so glad I caught you. And he was looking for me, and it was
Oh,
it
wow.
was in Florida. And he said that he had read my Tourist Trap series to his father when his father was going through cancer treatments. And it was something that his father could enjoy the story, but yet it wasn't too bright, wasn't too heavy for him, and they could stop and pick it up as he slept through the process. And it was just such a sweet story that he told me about this. It just broke my heart, you know.
Yeah.
And it's been that kind of reaction to, you know, my writing that's kept me in the cozy area.
Yeah.
Because people really love that easygoing story.
Exactly. There's no crazy gore, no crazy violence, etc. And don't get me wrong, I do also enjoy some harder mysteries,
Mhm.
but cozies are the ones that I want to read before I go to sleep. Or if
Yeah.
I've had a bad day, or if I'm in any way feeling depressed or my anxiety is acting up, the last thing I want is something that's too depressing.
Well, yeah, and I think it was something that I read, The Heroine's Journey.
By Gail how does she
Yes,
pronounce her name? Carriger.
Carriger. Yes,
Yeah.
I read that book, and I actually realized that's the kind of story I'm drawn to.
Yeah.
It's where the community gets together. It's where everything, you know, it's the hallmark. It's where
Yes.
there's a
Yeah.
problem, but we solve it, and there's no way to solve it, but it does get solved. And it's not, you know, the hero goes off on his own to fix this. It's everyone in the community gets together. And that's why I love cozies so much. And that's why I love the cozy community so much.
Yeah. I also enjoy if you're writing a cozy series, or if you're reading a cozy series, you know that you're going to see the same set of recurring characters again. And even if they're not a family, they function with that sort of friends and family unit.
Yes.
And it's reassuring. You get the opportunity to watch them grow. And yeah, I really like that people element of cozy mysteries.
Yeah, as we were talking about before we went live, where we both have written romance in the
Yeah.
past, I think that's what was missing with romance for me, because I wanted those big Thunder Mountain, Virgin River type
Yeah.
people and groups. But
Mhm.
you know, when you're reading a romance, they want you to focus, or writing a romance, they want you to focus on the couple. It's like, but what about, you know,
Yeah.
grandma over here, and what's happening with her? And I love those quirky characters. So
Same. Yeah, that is absolutely true. And I also like having the opportunity with characters to revisit them in more than one book. So you don't have the situation where in romance, I obviously had the hero and the heroine, and I had to make sure that they had a goal, motivation, conflict, basically a character arc that got solved nicely within the book. And with the cozies, I can elongate those character arcs. I can have like a mini arc in one particular story, but I can make some of the big things recur and come back. And for me, it feels very real.
real and
Yeah.
natural. Yeah.
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 To real life.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you're not reading or writing cozies, do you have any other hobbies or interests that you'd like to share with us?
Oh my goodness, what's a hobby? Um, right now I I'm working the day job still.
Okay.
Uh, planning on that ending in the next year or so. We're building a house
Oh, exciting.
in a different state.
Okay, wow,
So,
even more
yeah,
exciting.
yeah. So my husband and one of the dogs is down there with him. So they're doing the house stuff while I'm keeping the home fires and the second dog. We have Keyshawn's. So there, it doesn't leave a lot of time for,
Yeah.
hobbies but I love to cook. I mean, I love to bake. A good stew or a good soup that just turns out perfect is so good. I love talking food. Food is my passion. It's just, if you read any of my books, you'll find out I like food a lot. Um, in fact, that's been a criticism of my books. Sometimes it's like, they eat all the time. It's like, yep, yes, they do. Yes, they do. They eat, they talk, they share. I should have been Italian. That's all I'm saying. Is I'm not, but I really should have been. I love reading. I kind of stay out of the cozy area when I'm reading because I want to not glom on to,
Yeah.
something
Yeah.
that somebody else has already done. I think there's a lot of ways to tell the story, and you're always telling your own story,
Mhm.
even if it's just like the story you wrote, someone else wrote, but it's still your story. It's still different in the ways that you bring to it. But there's a lot of, cat stories, and there's a lot, things like that. So what do I do for, I try to work out, and that doesn't work out as much.
The cons, I hear you, time, motivation.
Time, motivation, goal, all those type of things. Yeah, so right now it's mostly, my time is mostly taken up by the day job and the writing and the building, the house building. I'm hoping that once
That's a lot.
yeah, we're heading to Idaho in the summer to which is where I'm from, to see family and to do some get away and some relaxation. So I have a whole month blocked off with barbed wire around it so nobody can get in there, so I can figure out, relax a little bit.
Yeah, I think that sounds very nice. Trying to
As
block
long as the
times.
world is okay at that time.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, my mother sent me the best meme, which was, it's a Schitt's Creek picture. And it's basically, I've just realized that 2022. So, 2020 times two again. So I just had to laugh because, yeah, the last couple of years, you make plans and the plans have to be changed, etc. But yeah, I think we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, I have a couple of actual author events. I had two in 2021, but they were both in October, so it doesn't really count. And I've got a couple, and they're both in March, or at least
Okay.
start in March. I don't know why, but that's what's happening. And it's just like, let's just put it out there and see if it actually works. And I'm hopeful though. I'm hopeful. One of them's in Charleston, so I've never been, so it's going to be something fun. So
Oh, that sounds lovely.
yeah.
Yeah, I haven't been to too many places in the States. I'm Irish, which you can probably hear from my accent. But I live in Switzerland at the moment. So yeah.
Oh, two places I haven't been.
Yeah, both are very nice, I have to say. I'm obviously prejudiced, but yeah, they are
Yeah.
nice.
I have finally gotten out of the country a few years ago, and I went to Canada. So
Okay.
I'm an initial a traveler here. I've gone to another state or another country. It's like,
Well, I mean, to be fair, the United States is huge, so is Canada.
yeah,
You can go quite far without ever leaving the country or the continent. The continent is even larger. My goodness. Yeah.
yeah.
So, your book of the month, let's talk about that. You have a Cat Latimer mystery. as the Cozy Book Club's book of the month. And it's called The Body at the Book Drop.
Yes.
And it's a prequel story to the Cat Latimer series. And I'm curious about this because the Cat Latimer series is obviously it's established. So how did it work for you to go back in time and revisit her when she was young?
It was really interesting. I started the Cat Latimer series when I was driving home to Idaho one year, and I wanted it set someplace else because I have the Tourist Trap at the time was my only other series, and it was set in California where my sister lives, and so I wanted to set someplace different. So we were driving through Colorado, so I picked Colorado, and then the sales were not as robust as the publisher would like, but I felt like the stories weren't done. And so I really wanted to continue the series for at least a few more books to see where Kat goes and see what happens with her series. And so choosing to go back was a way for me to re-involve people in the entire series and not just the books that I'll be putting out myself going forward. Mm-hmm. It was like a reintroduction to Kat. She's at a crossroads in that point of the story too, because she's at a crossroads when the series begins, but she's at a different crossroads when this novella is set out. And she's been dating her high school sweetheart forever. And they were planning on getting married and everything was there. And she went to college and she met a college professor and they fell in love. And well, she went to college, her and her boyfriend broke up because of a silly fight. Mm-hmm. And she thought it was over and she kind of fell in love with this college professor. And so the novella is right at the point where she's not wanting to fall in love with the college professor. You know, she's a graduate student and she's keeping him at arm's length, and you know, she's not sure what's going on with the old boyfriend, and so she just wants to be her own person, and she's trying to be her own person. And I liked telling that story because it was the Kat that she feels like she is. You know, mm-hmm. it was the one point where it wasn't a man in her life either way. And she was at that point where she could explore who she was. So I really loved telling Body in the Book Drop because of that. And it let me bring in her folks who had moved to Florida by the time the series actually started. So when you meet Kat again, she has had that relationship with the professor and the marriage and broken up with him and divorced him, and he has died and he left her the house and the will. Mm-hmm. And so that's book one, which is traditionally published. So when she comes back to Colorado, she reunites with ex-boyfriend and finds out what happened, mm-hmm. what really happened during that time. And I think it's a nice growing point for her because she had certain conceptions of both Seth, who is her current boyfriend in the series that goes on, not the dead guy. And she had certain feelings about herself. And so she's at that point where she's learning who she is. And I love that, where a character takes on that growing up process, mm-hmm. and figuring out what she wants in life. So
yeah. And the Kat Latimer series is about she runs writing retreats.
She runs writing retreats. Yeah, she's a paranormal author.
Okay.
And she got the house. I don't know if you can see that.
Pretty.
And they're pretty. She got the house when her ex-husband died. She lost it in the divorce. She gets it back in the house when he passes away. And so she moves in and she has a friend who moves back. She she had left Colorado, moved to California to live for a while. She taught college there, and now she's moving back. She taught, and she's trying to be a full-time author. And so she has this big house with nobody in it, just her and her friend. And so they open up a writer's retreat once a month. And the college is helping support them. So the college, sends a professor in to do a session. And, it's just really small town. Everybody's in your business type of town.
I love that.
And it's in Colorado, and they ski and all fun stuff like that. So
that has the perfect feel for also a Hallmark mystery series too.
Yes.
Yeah.
You would hope someday.
Yes.
But yeah, so when Kensington, who's my publisher, the first 6 books, when they said, sales aren't where we want them to be, and we'd like you to give us another book, and it's like, no. And so I said, can I have the rights to write forward? And they said, sure, because they thought they were keeping me busy enough that I'd have no time. And as we mentioned before, I have a real job, or a day job, and it's just like I'll never have time to write, but I did.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So Kat and her story is continuing.
That's exciting. And apart from Kat, you have a number of other cozy mystery series for readers to enjoy. You've got the Tourist Trap, you've got the Kitchen Witch, and the Farm. Excuse me, I'm going to get it wrong again.
Farm to Fork.
Thank you.
Yes. Yep, we've got a new Farm to Fork releasing in January.
Okay.
They just signed on for 3 more Kitchen Witches, so I'm real excited about that. So we'll have at least 6 of those. Tourist Trap they love, and we're at 15 already, and they've already told me that they'll give me another 3. So, Jill and her California crew are going to continue to be running the bookstore. And then I'm opening a new series this year called the Survivors Book Club series.
Okay.
And it's a little bit more serious of the subject matter. They are breast cancer survivors, or at least the beginning of the books. The story is with the books club being breast cancer survivors. They kind of changed it to a sleuthers club after a while, but so she is in Sedona, and she's opening a bookstore because that's what she always wants to do. And so they'll have it'll have a more serious tone, but it still will have a lot of the fun that cozies bring. It'll just have a little bit more real life in it.
Yeah.
That maybe some of the other cozies do.
Wow, you are certainly kept busy. How many books do you usually write per year? Or does that depend?
It does depend. It's usually between 5 or 6.
Okay. Yeah.
So
that's
every couple months I'm starting another book. Yeah. I don't want to say it's hard, because it's not hard, because I get lost in it. Yeah. And it's my go place, I don't solve cancer, in my day job. It's not something where I'm doing something that's hard, and I'm not, a lawyer where I have to save people from being executed. I like my day job. It's busy, and I like keeping busy. So when I'm writing, I can be anyone.
Yeah.
But apparently with my cozy series, all my cozy series, apparently I want to be either a writer or I want to be a bookstore owner, because those, or a chef, or a chef. So those are the 3 things I guess I want to be, because those are the things I write about.
The recurring themes.
Yes.
So where can readers find you? Do you have a readers group, website, a newsletter to sign up for?
All of those things.
All of this.
Um,
Okay.
I do have a newish readers group. You can find it through my FedEx, through my FedEx, yeah, through my Facebook page. That's Cozy Readers Readers and Friends of Lynn Cahoon, something like that. Hideaway, something like that. I'm sorry, I'm horrible about that. My regular page is Lynn Cahoon author, so that's easy, and it's Cahoon and not Calhoun.
Okay.
That's a big difference, and a huge discussion on when I first started writing on how I would make sure people understood my name, which hasn't been a problem, but it was a huge discussion. So what the things that authors talk about.
That is.
And then I'm also on all of the other websites, you know, the Twitter, and I have a web page, which is simply lynncahoon.com. So everything's up there. If it's not up there, it's getting up there. So it's those type of things. But yeah, it's all things Lynn Cahoon. If you look at Lynn Cahoon, you probably find me most everywhere. I just don't post a lot. I'm even on the new one.
TikTok?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm not. So you've beat me there.
I'm there. I'm not doing anything, but I'm there.
I'm not even there yet. Well, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to me. Particularly, we're recording this. It's the 21st of December. So right before Christmas, and I'm sure that you're super busy and have a lot to do. So thank you so much for making the time.
It was my pleasure. I love book stuff. I love talking books. I've always loved talking books, even before I was an author. So it's something that makes my heart swell every time I think about the blessing I was given that I could actually write my own books, and people buy them and they talk to me about them, and they talk to my characters like they're their friends, and that's pretty awesome.
It is. Well, thank you, Lynn.
Well,
okay, thanks everyone. See you next month. Bye.
Bye.